Hi everyone, this is Dina over at Monroe Center Grade School. I'm going to share with you some of the highlights from last year, some of the challenges that we bring forward with us this year, and the steps we're going to take to overcome those challenges here over at Monroe Center. Last year, you guys offered me an opportunity of a lifetime to become the leader here over at Monroe Center, and we had a lot of work to do as I came in, and we still have a lot of work to do, but last year we laid the foundation for how we're going to work together as a team in this building with both students and staff alike. We built some partnerships with Rock Valley College, and they were able to come and help teach our students how to code. We had students in the building working on projects and feeling empowered enough to even share with Dr. Capozzi to try to make some changes in our building and in the district. We had teachers applying for grants, and Mrs. McDevitt and Mrs. Metzger received a science grant. And then maybe the most exciting piece of it is at the end of the year last year, towards last quarter, we had our leadership team set up with students and launched that with mentors and had a really good, amazing turnout for the end of the year in terms of how many students wanted to be a part of these leadership teams. And without your support and your faith in me to do this role or this position or this calling here at Monroe Center, there's no way any of that would be possible. So what you see here is because of you and Dr. Capozzi's support. So thank you so much for all of that. I'm going to do similar to what Joe did because I thought the idea of focusing this on our school improvement goals was phenomenal. So thank you, Joe, for that. Last year, we moved our highly satisfied and highly engaged staff percentage from 59% to 76.32%. Our goal was 70%, so that was phenomenal. We still want more, so we want to move everybody out of that middle quadrant to the upper and outer edges. And we're going to continue working with the Human X assessment and trying to identify areas that we can do better in the building. We've identified them through our SIP, and we've already made some surveys in terms of collecting data ourselves, figure out what we need to do. We've made some steps already to better what we're doing with individuals throughout the building. The collective efficacy survey was one we built ourselves because we had gone to a summit and it made us extremely aware that there was a ton of work to be done before we'd be able to work as a team and be able to do what we needed to do to have a positive effect on students. So you can see the data here from fall, winter, and spring, how much we grew in each of those areas. And I feel like we have more than enough built the foundation that we need to move forward to help impact student achievement. You're going to see this frame several times throughout the presentation about how do we get there. I'm not going to read the entire frame to you, but you're going to notice a theme going throughout where you're going to see a lot about goal setting, accountability, and PLC focus and training. So probably first and foremost, I should say the PLC focus and revolving around that and everything we do is going to impact the rest. So I am extremely grateful, as is my staff, for Wednesday mornings. They they are having conversations that they've never had before, or they're getting back to conversations that are driving what they do and what they change. And it's been phenomenal being a part of that. And it's been wonderful trying to help that continue to develop. So thank you so much for that. And as you can see, if you have questions about this, feel free to ask. I'm not going to read each thing off of the slide, but these are all the components of things that we are doing to better our culture in this building. The hardest one for me to discuss is our academic SIP, not because it's about academics, but because of where we are falling in terms of academics here at Monroe Center. So that being said, last year our goal was to have 64% of the students at Monroe Center meet their individual scaled score goals as set by STAR. We ended up at 63.1% meeting. That being said, had we even met the 64%, that goal is not meaty enough, is not hearty enough for us to still, even if we had achieved that, the scores that we would have received on IAR would not have been enough to be where I want to be. Our SIP team talked in great detail this summer, and we created a SIP goal that is meeting our scaled score goals. In addition to that, we want more. So then we have it where 65% of the students will be at or above the 50th percentile rank or maintain their original percentile rank as scored in their STAR fall benchmark. We're going to be using STAR and IAR and our teacher-made pre, mid, and post assessments to measure the growth for our students. Um, Recognizing, and it's important to say that the STAR screener that we use is a phenomenal way to give us indicators of what we need to work on with students. What's really important to also recognize, and we've been noticing this with IIR as we analyze it, we've been noticing this as we restructure our assessments and recreate our assessments, that the critical thinking that's involved in taking the IAR assessment is so much deeper than what we are used to. So it is definitely challenging us in terms of our assessments and our instruction here, but it's not a challenge that I haven't seen our teachers take on. So I believe we will get there. I am going to share with you the ELA data and the math data. You'll see it on the wall in the boardroom already, but it's just a quick overall MC star ELA. And you can see when you look at this piece, it looks like things are improving. It looks like there is growth, and there is growth, but it's not what we need to perform better on IAR, to prepare our students better, to be on track for math, and get them where they need to be. So it's hard to say that out loud. It makes it real, but it's factual. So we need to do better here in terms of that for them. So, and to make this easier, this is the IAR for this year. So we had 27% of our students were proficient in ELA on the IAR that they took last March. So I imagine that's why it's probably harder for me to discuss that, because when you think about 27% of your kids, it's really on about a third of your building, and it's it's not enough. So we will do better, and we are taking steps to do better, and I will share those with you in a moment. And the math is not largely different, which is concerning since the goal has been math the last few years. So I believe some of the changes we're making there as well will impact all of this. This is our star math. Again, it's on the wall in the boardroom. Significantly, when you look at this, just like as a visual, it does look like there is improvement, there is growth, and that is all true. However, again, it's not impacting what we do enough. You can't just have this only think that's going to move you in IAR. The instruction, the assessment, everything that we do here in the building is going to do that as well. So we are working on bettering that. For the IAR, for the math, we had 30% of our students were proficient in math in this building. So we need to definitely work on that as well. No different reason than the ELA, very similar in that respect. So here are the things that we are going to do. Again, we are going to focus on the PLC. We're going to focus on assessments and instruction and goal setting to enhance our performance. So when we talk about the PLC focus, that is everything. Everything that we are doing coming out of the PLC is going to affect everything we do in terms of assessments and instruction and our movement on our students and our interventions. Our assessment and instruction, we have gone through our math with the help of our wonderful math coach, Beth. Thank you, Beth. She has gone through and helped support me throughout the whole process of rewriting the math assessments, and been such a huge support in helping teach me about math as well, so much that I did not know. And then Lisa has been doing the same with the reading and the impact that she has made with all of us in terms of the guided reading and working on the assessments and working through finding the best avenue to distribute the assessments. So they've been doing a phenomenal job. And then the goal setting, not only for us, but for students, for their WIGs, for everything that we're doing, and holding ourselves accountable, and my holding everybody here accountable. So we are working in that direction to be able to impact the student performance, and I'm very optimistic about how that's going to look this year. So I'm looking forward to that, and I know that sounds, after looking at that data, that sounds a little bit maybe possibly even arrogant, but I'm optimistic. Our systems goal is interesting in that last year we did choose a systems goal, and we did well in terms of the onboarding and offboarding process that we were trying to create. And it's become more of a natural process now. So it was effective. But when we really looked at it this summer with the SIP team, it wasn't really having a huge impact on our student performance. So this year we pivoted and we are working to have 60% of our students identified for reading intervention to show a growth by at least one level or exit the intervention program completely. We're going to use our STAR data, our intervention documents and spreadsheets, and our student assistance team documentation and their support throughout the whole process. How we're going to do that, again, here we go, PLC focus. School-wide training and the process creation itself may be critical here. That's going to be probably one of the most important things there as well, because through the PLC focus, we found a lot of things that were maybe not in line in terms of how an intervention flow should be. And so working on a flow chart to document and provide the consistent process that relates to not just student performance, but our process within the student assistance team as well. And we're also doing goals here. Consistency and accountability is key in all of this. And I'm working on that. I am learning more and more about that every single day. And hopefully charging everybody else up to do the same for themselves. Just a little note on Leader in Me. The best part about Leader in Me in the spring last year is moving forward into this year. We didn't even have a moment before we got in the building before the kids were already asking us, hey, are we having the leadership teams? Hey, are we getting those again? Do we still have the same ones? Do we have to apply again? And it was phenomenal. So the transition into this year was almost seamless. And we have kids that are taking over, like, our muffins with moms. We have mentors that really are just taking the back seat, where we have our welcome kiddos, we have our kiddos that are working on the aesthetics in the building, we have kiddos that are teaching technology, we have study buddies, we have they're not really called study buddies, I forget what they're actually called, but they help each other at lunchtime when one buddy can't go outside. We have so much going on that is great for children in this building, and I'm very optimistic about what this year is going to hold true for us. So where we're heading, we are heading to great places for instruction. We have so much going on in terms of PLC. We have students that are going places that they never thought they could. We have um, physical fitness that's helping charge the brain before they get started for their school day. And we have so many great things going on at Monroe Center that I'm happy to be a part of it. So thank you so much for everything. And if you have questions, just give me a holler if you need to.